Okay, so let me just share my slides and we will get going. Okay, so welcome everyone to the virtual open day for the UCL, EPSRC and BBSRC Center for Doctoral Training in Engineering Solutions for Antimicrobial Resistance. Bit of a mouthful. I am Professor Lena Ciric. I'm the Center Director, and with me I've got Susie Emmett, who's helping me run these virtual open days. I'm going to do a bit of a run through, an overview of the CDT, what our aims are, what we offer, what we're going to try to achieve over the next 8 years or so. And then you'll have the opportunity to ask any questions you might have. Please do save your questions for the end of my presentation. You can pop them into the chat, or I'm more than happy for you to unmute and turn your cameras on and ask your questions yourselves. So I'll tell you a little bit more about the center now. Okay, so first a little bit about the center aims. So antimicrobial resistance, as you should know, is a very complex problem. It's not something that can just be solved by prescribing less or finding a new antibiotic. It's a really complex problem that really requires a coordinated effort, a global effort to try to find some solutions to it. What we really need are people who can lead and coordinate activities across governments and industry and the different research disciplines. And these are the people that we hope to train. What we're keen to look at is in-depth specialized scientific and engineering skills. So for you to become experts in these particular scientific and engineering skills and technologies that can help to address some of the problems caused by antimicrobial resistance. But we also need you to have a breadth of knowledge. So we need you to understand the AMR context and its complexities, but we also need you to understand other aspects such as translation of science and technology, the public health context of antimicrobial resistance, how AMR is regulated, how pharmaceutical regulation and standardization works, how to implement solutions and how these can be adopted, also understanding things like public awareness and perception, and how best to communicate to all sorts of different audiences. So we've designed a study program together with our external partners, and these include both government organizations like UK Health and Security Agencies, to pharmaceutical industry like Pfizer and GSK, and other organizations like the Crick Institute. So you can see a schematic of the study program here. So first we have recruitment, and what we're keen to do is to make sure that we recruit students who show research excellence, who are a really good fit to our program. But we also want a really diverse set of cohorts with different backgrounds, both from a life and a scientific point of view. So then once you arrive at UCL, we have in your first year a whole cohort module which you will attend on Fridays in terms 1 and 2. And this will teach you the ABC of AMR. So looking at the AMR context, everything from what are microbes through to how to design new vaccines. During the first year, we'll also be covering research skills and impact. So how best to translate the research that you're doing into real world impacts. And then in years 2, 3, and 4, you'll do some more bespoke training that is individual to your particular project and what you're hoping to do with your future career. So this could be bespoke technical training, bespoke specific skills that you might need, research skills, and bespoke impact training as well. We have specific funding allocated for each student to fund this bespoke training that will be suited just for you. In parallel, in years 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so throughout your entire PhD, will also be there will also be some network engagement. So this will be within your own CDT, but also with other CDTs, both at UCL and beyond, other UCL networks and external networks too, like, for example, the AMR Centre at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. And you'll be working on your PhD project straight away from the beginning of year 1 through to the end of year 4. So there's no MSc qualification as part of this CDT. There's no formal assessment for any of the ABC of AMR module components, but we will be carrying out some formative assessment to make sure that you're attending and that you're getting the most out of the program that we've put together. The program itself will be delivered by experts at from around UCL, but also from other higher education organizations if we don't feel that we have the highest level of expertise to be able to deliver a particular lecture. So we'll have some guest lectures too. And we'll also have some of our external partners come and talk to you. So for example, you know, I don't think I'm the best person to tell you about pharmaceutical regulation, but I think some of my colleagues from Pfizer are. So they will be able to come in and tell you about stuff like that. We'll also probably have some site visits as well arranged in the first year, so where you'll be able to go and look at research and development sites or manufacturing locations around the UK. And then at the end of this schematic, we've got outputs. So where, you know, we want the research that you do to have impact in academia, in industry, in policy, and in healthcare. And just a final little thing to say about this schematic is that you'll have a thesis committee that you'll see on a regular basis throughout your PhD. So certainly in your first year, about 6 months in, then you'll upgrade from MPhil to PhD between 9 and 18 months from the start of your PhD. You'll meet your thesis committee then again throughout years 2, 3, and 4, and then finally you'll have you'll submit your PhD at the end of year 4 and have your viva not long after that. Okay, so within the CDT, we have 3 research themes. These are preventing infections, then surveillance and diagnostics, and novel therapies. And novel therapies include both novel antimicrobials and vaccines. I'm going to whiz through the next few slides quite quickly. These are the projects that we have available to our 2025 cohort. So this is theme 1, so preventing infections. I'm not going to read these out. These are all on our website, so you'll be able to have a look at them. On our website, you can see the titles, but of course also the 2 supervisors, and their supervisors are linked to their UCL profile, so you can learn more about them. You can contact them. And there's also a 500-word outline of each of the projects on our website. So the ones at the moment are theme 1, so this is preventing infections. Then our theme 2 projects, this is surveillance and diagnostics. So looking at what sort of resistance is out there, and in what amounts, and also how do we better and more quickly diagnose resistant infections in people. And then here we have projects from theme 3. So this is novel therapeutics. So this is including both novel antimicrobials and vaccines. So as I said, a lot more can be found out about all of these projects on our website. Okay, and a little bit more about the community that you'll be joining at UCL. So your student cohort will be made up of 10 students, and each year we'll have a new cohort of 10 students. The 2025 cohort will be our first. Each cohort will have its year reps, and each student will have their individual student mentor, who will be a student in their final year of studies. For our first cohort, this will be from the supervisors on more senior students. As we build up our own cohorts, the mentors will be from within the CDT. So some of you in a couple of years' time might be mentors to the new intake of CDT students that come and join us in 2027. We'll also have a student and staff consultative committee, which will be made up of the student reps and a few members of the CDT management team. You'll have the CDT management team at your disposal. I'll tell you a little bit more about them in a moment. You will have your PhD supervisors, so 2 of them, your primary and secondary student supervisor at UCL. These could be within the same department or in different departments. Then you'll have the London Centre of Nanotechnology, which is where this CDT will be hosted. And the LCN runs 3 different CDTs. So there's a number of different student cohorts going through their PhD studies at any one time. So there's this community that you will become a part of too. And then finally, the UCL Doctoral School, which is the sort of center of the PhD student community at UCL. Okay, so just a little bit about the CDT team. So there's the core management team. I'm the director. We then have Dr. Philip Pearce, who is in charge of the curriculum, Dr. Mike Thomas, who's in charge of equality, diversity and inclusion and pastoral care. He will be the chair of the Student and Staff Consultative Committee. We have Professor Manish Tiwari, who's our partnerships person and the deputy director of the centre, and then Professor Giorgio Volpe, who's in charge of recruitment. We also have the theme leads. So for each of our 3 themes, so infection prevention, and this is Richard Beckett, and I share the theme lead role with him. We have Professor Rachel McKendry, who is in charge of the surveillance and diagnostics theme, shared with Mike Thomas, and then Professor Joe Santini and Professor Bart Hugenboom, who are in charge of the novel therapies theme. We'll also have a CDT professional services team. We're in the process of recruiting these. So we have recruited a CDT manager who will be starting with us early in the new year. And by spring 2025, we will also have recruited a CDT administrator and a partnerships manager. So all of these people will be there to help shape your studies and as a resource to support you through your PhD. So a little bit about what we offer. So we will be, we have funding for 4 cohorts of 10 studentships, so 40 in total. The first one will be starting in autumn 2025. So we have fully funded 4-year PhD studentships. Within these, the fees are covered. You also get a standard UKI stipend plus 3,000 increase per annum. So what I've put up here on the screen is the 2024-25 stipend, UKRI stipend. We haven't had confirmation of what this will be for 25-26, but that will be coming shortly, and it will certainly be a little bit more than the current one. The CDT also covers £17,000 in total for the full 4 years of research costs. So this might be consumables or sequencing costs, computing, any sort of specialized computing that you might need, a travel budget of £3,000. So this is personal to you to spend on going to conferences and any research trips, and then a training budget of £2,000. So this is for any bespoke training individual to you that you would like to undertake during the time that you're at UCL. Okay. So a little bit about the application process. So applications are now open. They will close on the 26th of January at midnight. You are at the first virtual open day, 18th of December. We'll be running another one on the 14th of January. Interviews, you will all go to 2 interviews. The first set of interviews should be taking place the week of the 10th to the 14th of February, and then the second set about a week later, between the 17th and 21st of February, possibly a little bit later. We'll be making offers just after we finish all of the interviews, so hopefully by the end of February 2025. And then the studentships will start in September 2025. We're really keen, as I said before, to recruit on the basis of 3 priorities, which are research excellence, fit to our program, and diversity. So a little bit about the application form. So you'll be able to access this from our website. It's an MS form that you'd fill out. There's also a PDF version of the form that you can download and have a look at before filling in the online form, so you can sort of think about what your answers might be and get a feel for what you'll be asked. In short, what's on there is your contact details, of course, so we know how to get in touch with you, your educational qualifications relevant to this particular CDT, any relevant research experience that you might have. This could be from final year projects, MSc projects, any internships you might have done, or any relevant work experience too. We want to hear about why you want to pursue a PhD. We want to know why you're applying to this particular CDT. And we want to hear why you think you're right for this particular CDT. We're keen to hear any relevant work experience you might have. And we would also like to know which project or projects you're interested in. So you'll have the chance to select up to 3 projects that you're interested in from the 15 that we have available at the moment. Remember, when you're writing your application form, that if there's a particular project that you're interested in, we're keen to hear what research experience you have relevant to that project or projects. We would also like 2 references for each of you, and then we have some equality, diversity, and inclusion data that we're collecting that we need to make sure that we're recruiting a diverse set of students, and also that we need to report back to our funder. A little bit about the interviews. So each candidate will attend 2 interviews. Most likely these will be held virtually. What we will be assessing is your research experience, your motivation for pursuing a PhD, your fit to our CDT, as well as your critical thinking and problem-solving skills, and your ability to overcome obstacles. What you'll have to prepare for the interviews. So for the first interview, you'll prepare a 10-minute presentation giving us an overview of your research experience. For the second interview, we'll be providing you with a research paper a few hours before the interview. And what we'd like you to do is prepare a 5-minute pitch that you will give at the beginning of the interview, and a 200-word text summarizing the research paper. There's a lot more information about all of this on our website. And of course, shortly you'll have a chance to ask me any questions you might have about this. So yes, as I said, please have a look at our website for more information. I know you've all, well, most of you will have been there because that's how you will have signed up for this virtual open day. If you haven't, please just have a look, just search for UCL CDT AMR and our page will come up. And you can also email us any queries you might have to cdt-amr@ucl.ac.uk. I think that is all that I have to say to you at this stage. So please feel free to turn your camera on and ask any questions you might have now, or pop any questions you might have into the chat. So I'm going to stop sharing this presentation and see if we have any answers, any questions that I can answer. Okay. In total tuition fees covered for international students. So we have funding to cover 3 international students per cohort. And that will be done by waiving the international fees. Yeah, I'm afraid that's as many as we can cover. I see there is a question from Fatima, so please go ahead and ask.
Hello, do you have my voice?
Yes.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for this informative session. I have a question. Actually, I am at the end of my bachelor degree in Iran, which where I spend like 5 years of bachelor, and the 2 years at the end of this degree, we spend some advanced courses. For example, the courses that normally taught in the master degree in other country, and Actually, I have a really strong background in developing nanosensors and nanomaterials for detection of biomolecules. But I have a question. I noticed that the requirement for this program is actually a master degree or any equivalent. But I have a question. But considering this fact, can I apply for the program? But considering this fact that I'm actually I really finished my bachelor at January 2025, and do you think I can apply for that?
Yes, I think so. So I think that we don't ask for a master's. So I think it's okay for you to have just a bachelor's degree as well. I think if it, especially if it's a 5-year bachelor's degree, that's something that you can outline in your application form. So because it's longer and because there's more research experience, this is something that you can highlight within your application form. And it means that, you know, that is fine. So I don't think you have to have a master's, but it can be beneficial. Really, it's not I don't believe it to be a requirement.
Yeah, I understand that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem at all. Do we have any other questions? Yes, so just give me a second. So it's a question about references. Do both references need to be from academia, or one could be from work? So yes, it's fine to have, you can have your references from anywhere really. I guess I would probably suggest that at least one of them should be from somewhere where you've undertaken some research, so that they can testify to your research abilities. However, you know, we're also interested in problem solving. We're also interested in critical thinking. We're also interested in your ability to overcome obstacles. So ultimately, I think whoever you choose to be your referees, they should be people who can testify to these things. And I think I would say make sure that they, you know you well and can say something specific about you. I see there's another question as well. If we have more than one project we wish to apply for, are we able to rank them? Yes, so I would say rank them. So you can select. Oh, yes, actually, sorry. I'm just thinking about the application form. So there's not, you just pick up to 3 out of a list of them, and there's no way of necessarily ranking them. I think the best way maybe to let us know is maybe to email us to let us know what your preferred projects are, or the order in which your preference is. Any other questions? No?
Hello. So, sorry, I just wanted to ask a question. I couldn't type this one because it's really big. But I am a graduate from UCL. So I did my master's in drug design from UCL. So CDT has its own funding. But from UCL, I know that there are some scholarships specifically available for UCL graduates as well.
Yep.
So like maybe the second year or third year onwards, because some of those scholarships also cater towards the research costs as well. So are they eligible to apply for those as well, or is it just CDT and that's it?
So the CDT has its own funding, and however, we are able to have students that are aligned to the CDT that are not necessarily funded by the CDT. So it is possible to get your funding from elsewhere and be a student that's aligned to the CDT and participates in all of the CDT activities, however, not be funded by the CDT. But I'm not sure if that is the question I'm not sure I've answered the question that you asked.
You have. Yeah.
I have. Good. Perfect. Good. That is a relief. Any other questions? Okay, it seems perhaps we don't have any more questions. So thank you all very much for coming along to the open day. If you do have more questions, if you think of something, you know, once we've finished, please do email us on that email, cdt-amr@ucl.ac.uk. So UCL will be shutting down from this Friday and then opening up again on the 2nd of January. So you might not get an answer over the next couple of weeks, but you will as soon as we're open again and over the next couple of days. Okay, so I think I will stop recording.